needed.
Resuming debate, the honourable member for Brampton South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm humbled to stand in this place and take this opportunity to speak about Bill C-14, an act to amend the criminal code and to make related amendments to other acts, medical assistance in dying. Mr. Speaker, I'll be splitting my time with the member of Kenora. I know this issue is very personal to Canadians. It is about quality of life and dignity. It is about autonomy. But most of all, it's about compassion. I listened to many people in constituency of Brampton South about this issue. I heard support from most people in my riding. I also heard sincere and heartfelt concerns, particularly from our Orthodox faith communities. I appreciate their conviction and that they raised their voice about this important issue. I will use my time today to explain why I will be voting for this important legislation. Mr. Speaker, my heart goes out to all those suffering and their family members facing circumstances I cannot imagine. I think we can agree it is those who are suffering and their families who this debate should be about, and I hope honourable members will not forget that fact. We must learn towards a compassionate approach to those affected. This is a serious matter and a complex issue, and so we must find the right balance. Our government must address this now. The Supreme Court made a decision, an unanimous decision, and soon there will be a legislative vacuum. I think we can agree that a patchwork approach by the provinces would be the wrong approach. We would be ignoring our responsibility to show national leadership on this matter. The framework laid out in C-14 provides a solid, focused, and detailed plan, and it will meet the June 6 deadline set out by court. Let me explain why. Permitting medical assistance in dying will extend more control to eligible terminal ill patients on how to live out their last days. This legislation also provides important safeguards and limitations. It requires the Minister of Health and the Minister of Justice, in consultation with the provinces, to create regulations that will protect all involved. In permitting medical assistance in dying for competent adults whose deaths are reasonably foreseeable, I believe we are striking the right balance between patients' autonomy who seek this medical assistance and the interest of patients in need of protection. It is important to note that this bill doesn't stand alone. I want to point out the critical work of improving palliative care in this country. The ideas of medical assistance in dying and a strong palliative care system are not in conflict, but rather the two are complementary and both important issues to address. That is why I'm proud the Minister of Health has recommitted to home care and palliative care improvement in response to a question that I asked during question period on May 3rd. In her reply to my question, the Minister quoted Dr. Atul Gawande, who talked about how people want not only a good death, but they want a good life to the very end. The Minister reiterated her commitment to palliative care and providing dignity when Canadians are suffering. She announced how she will work with the provinces to ensure high-quality care of all Canadians. She also brought up how the Government of Canada is committed to an investment of $3 billion over 4 years to support that goal of palliative care and home care improvements, and I commend this step forward. We cannot view assisted dying legislation separate from investment in our healthcare system. Quality palliative care is in fact a critical priority of this government. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, as our government renegotiates the health accord with the provinces, I look forward to seeing palliative care discussed. The work with provinces, territory, and stakeholders is essential to providing option to end-of-life care. My background is as a research coordinator and diabetes educator. I know how the role and views of physician and nurse practitioners is vital to this issue. As a member of the Health Committee and someone who worked in the healthcare field for almost 20 years, I understand the importance of consulting the people on the front lines. Physician and nurse practitioners are central to the end of the life process. This conscience rights will be respected in this legislation. We are actively working on the best way to ensure their views are always taken into account. The rules in this legislation are clear and the eligibility has been carefully defined. I want to be clear that there is nothing in the legislation that compels any medical practitioner or authorized nurse practitioner to provide medical assistance in dying. The legislation is meant to balance access to medical assistance in dying while respecting the personal conviction of healthcare providers. Again, this is about finding the right balance. Canadians are looking to their doctors and nurses to provide health care and to help them maintain their quality of life. However, when the quality is no longer attainable, Canadians want to know that their healthcare providers will also them when their choice is a dignified end of their lives. We have struck the right balance, in my view, by having proper procedural safeguards. Access to medical assistance in dying would only be available to those who meet the following conditions: be a mentally competent adult who's an advanced state of irreversible decline in capability, have a serious and incurable illness, disease, or disability, and experiencing enduring and intolerable suffering, and whose deaths are reasonably foreseeable. It will also remain a crime to assist a person either in dying or in causing a person's death in situation other than lawful medical assistance in dying. Protective measures are a key part of the legislation to ensure that patients eligible have given informed consent. Patients have to make a written request for medical assistance in dying and have it signed by 2 independent witnesses. 2 independent medical opinions have to confirm that the patients meet all the criteria. These first 2 criteria are intended to ensure that requests for medical assistance in dying are truly voluntary, that they reflect the wishes to the patients and are not made as a result of external pressure. Our evidence-based approach will include regulated monitoring and reporting. This monitoring and reporting system will also be able to signal any issues or unexpected consequences. We want Canadians to see a system that is functioning and preventing abuse or errors. This will build up confidence and allow Canadians to make informed decisions about how the system should operate. I appreciate how other members have spoken about how we will look to international models in terms to way to work the provinces and territories. This end-of-life coordination system will respect the role of the provinces while providing access and respecting people's rights. Mr. Speaker, I want to recognize the work of the committees and the senators that have studied this matter and made recommendations around this debate. These recommendations and testimony from those on all sides of this issue should be taken into account. There have been a number of informative and heartfelt speeches by fellow members that I also want to take a moment to applaud. I also thank the Minister of Justice and the Minister of Health of their work into introducing the legislation. C-14 strikes the proper balance in the view of the Supreme Court's decision and provided a needed legal framework. As parliamentarians, we have the final say on behalf of the people we serve, who elected us to be their voice. This is a debate that engages our morality, our sense of justice, our compassion, and asks tough questions to our legal and medical system. We have talked to one another, heard some touching stories, and reflected on how this issue affects all of us. It has called on us to hear the stories coming from the perspective of Canadians that are suffering. It is often all too easy to forget what we would do if we were in their shoes. We often fail to truly appreciate the perspective and experience of those diagnosed with a terminal illness. Their dignity is challenged more and more as they reach their end. We need to pass this legislation at the soonest possible opportunity. I hope all members will support this bill with me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments?